One day I wake up from my sleep and I choose to become a politician. But becoming one is only a pipe dream if you don't have what it takes, which are name and money. Most of us have none, so let's just be one in Elden Ring instead. Now, in Elden Ring, we have someone who is the next ruler of Limgrave, as he proclaimed, Kenneth Haight.
Is anybody there?
So we got that, and money isn't quite relevant here. Looks like my dream is coming true virtually. I picked Prophet class because I thought most of his arsenal requires more faith, but the most important thing I need to do is to steal his identity by becoming him. Literally. I don't usually bother with the facial customization, but I think it's close enough. Probably, yes. We gotta at least honor the man before imposing as him, so let's say he wanted to take back his fourth, yeah, let's give him his fourth. After I'm done with all he asked, he gave me a fancy erdsteel dagger, which probably one of the worst weapon out there, but it will be helpful weapon in the right hand. I went back to the fourth and apparently he pulled the classic politician phrase, "I'm sorry, I cannot fulfill my promise" kind of thing. But that's fine, I already expected that and I'm still gonna help him looking for a lord that he needs. But for now, I want to complete his looks. We have to travel far north to the Altus Plateau. There is a specific area called Abandoned Coffin where we can find Kenneth Haight's robe. It's called the Ruler's Robe. Someone important must have died here, probably by the dragon or the omens. On the other hand, his pants can be bought from the merchant. Let's take a closer look at his arsenal. He already gave us the erdsteel dagger, but he could also pull some incantations when under the threat. Those incantations are the Wrath of Gold and the Sacred Order, but we don't need them right now. In fact, I want to test the dagger itself against Margit. You see, I haven't played Elden Ring in months, and death becoming a very common thing to happen in this playthrough, especially having less than 100 damage per hit. But getting used to his moves wasn't that hard. The one thing that troubles me was how long I can keep my focus. Margit is fast, but my dagger is faster. Its heavy attacks actually lands 2 hits, and it was fast enough to do that almost every opening. Even though I preferred a safe hit when he pulled a slow winded attack. This isn't a tough fight just yet, but I did take some time finishing it. It's time to test out those incantations I mentioned before. The Order's Blade can be bought from a guy named D. Only D. But in order to make him a merchant, I have to acquire a death root. The easiest way to get him is to kill a boat lady, but I did pick a different way by going inside the catacomb and kill this injured assassin. Just like every politician out there, we gotta exploit the weak. Order's Blade is now acquired. Wrath of Gold is much easier to get, so there we go. But those spells requires a bit more faith than usual people, so it's necessary for me to put some points on faith. And also while I'm at it, I collect every smithing stone bell bearing so I'm able to level up this dagger and make it less pathetic. Two-finger heirloom is a necessary talisman to boost 5 points of faith and combined with Marika's Scarsteel that I got from Sea of Red River for the plus 3 points more. With those talismans, I don't have to level up too much. Because I'm a politician, I'm lazy. I'm currently Kenneth Haight's errand boy and at the same time giving him all the credits he needs. While venturing through Stormfell Castle, I found the candidate that he's talking about. Y'all already know, like, she's the best person as the face of our political party, but we need time to mold her perfectly as a leader, so we'll let her be at the moment. But as for now, Operation Coup d'etat is a go. Godric is our second boss, and honestly speaking, he's less of a threat in every way. However, my hands are still a bit rusty, so this fight is still a warm-up battle. Godric is much slower than Margit, so it's far easier to land a couple of hits in a single opening. I would say my favorite opening is when he used the Stormcaller and do a crazy roll jump kind of thing. Also, this time I'm using Wrath of Gold as my main damage dealer since it deals more damage than a small dagger. However, I cannot use it all the way through since I have limited FP, and not to mention this spell consumes a lot of it. But I spared some FP so I can use it efficiently on second phase. I don't like most of his fire attacks because he forced me to make some distance with him, while I need a very close range to land a hit, but everything else is mostly the same as phase 1, so I don't bother it too much. Stormfell is ours now, but I'll let Kenneth Haight know about it later since Nepheli isn't ready just yet. This is Nepheli's training arc. Even though I feel a bit stiff and died more often than I usually do, she needs to be stronger than ever as she will be the next Lord of Stormfell. So, I progressed through her quest and spent around 30 minutes killing this Omen killer. Yeah, they used to be very easy to kill, man. What happened to me? After beating the guy, Nepheli seems to have
you. Please. Leave me be.
mental breakdown, which is understandable for an idealistic person, but we have to let her stay like that for a while as we progress through the game. To get the second Great Rune, I choose to go to Renala instead of Radahn because she looks much easier to beat with my current loadout. As a politician, we have to implant the efficient mindset. Anyway, before reaching Renala, Red Wolf is an essential fight. Surprisingly, it didn't take as long as I expected. You know, I don't like Red Wolf because in some runs, this guy can take a solid hour of my time, but not this time. Also, I'm using Order's Blade to coat my dagger with holy damage. I'm having a hard time fighting this guy before, but I realize all I have to do is always get close to him. The same method also helps a lot when he pulled a super fast double slash. But I really like this fight since I can utilize Wrath of Gold more often. I know how to avoid him easily now. Alright, here we go, Renala. We can straight up skip the first phase as you may know already. As soon as the shield drops, we can straight up butcher her. Second phase, unfortunately, I failed to be her first try, but I still made it anyway. Now, I forgot that holy damage is a different thing from magic damage. And I expect she would have some quiet resistance to holy, so I minimized using the Order's Blade until I found out the truth. I feel a bit reckless by keep stabbing her and I got hit most of the time by her staff, but as long as I can dodge the magic, it wouldn't be much of an issue. Her summons also not a big of a deal. Once she ran away a bit far, the summons will eventually despawn. And there we go, Renala is no more. Just kidding, she's still there and her mental state is getting better, thank God.
Is it thy wish to be born?
But there is another reason why I picked Renala over Radahn. So, compared to Kenneth Haight, my skin tone was a bit darker, so I need Renala to perform a plastic surgery. I need to be white before entering Lindell. Alright, let's go back and talk about Nepheli. In order to get her on her feet, I need to trace my way back to Chapel of Anticipation by getting into the portal in Liurnia. Technically, I never fight a grafted scion legitimately in my life, so yeah, this is kinda new to me. And new is not always be a positive thing. And so we got the Stormhawk King. This will cheer her up, but we cannot give it to her just yet. Timing is very important. To progress on Nepheli's quest, first of all, I have to meet Seleuphis. And before meeting Seleuphis, I have to meet Rani. And before meeting Rani, I have to beat Loretta. The spectral version sure is easy and I can be as aggressive as I can. I'm still being very reckless here, however I didn't get punished too much and having 10 vigor apparently still able to withstand some of her attacks. It's a fairly okay fight, I beat her in no time. After that, I talked to Rani and then Seleuphis. He gave me the potion, but I have to dispose it through Gideon. Somehow, the dialogue doesn't change, and apparently I have to do Roderica's quest as well.
I spoke with the girl. She has a gift.
Alright, that's done. Then I gave her the Stormhawk King, and she's happy now. We're almost there. But for some reasons, to make her the new ruler of Limgrave, we have to conquer Lindel. Maybe some lore explanations for this? Please let me know, guys. But anyway, Draconic Tree Sentinel, here we go. Let's see, I don't remember this fight was taking so long, man. I feel like I died out of misfortunes that seems to be happening quite a lot in this fight. But here's the thing, the dagger doesn't deal much damage to him, and even with the holy buff, it can only increase the damage so much but not quite significant. Wrath of Gold is alright, honestly, but the downside is it's a bit slower than his reaction speed, so my chance of getting killed is much higher. I'm okay with having small damage as long as I can see the bar moving, but fighting a tree sentinel, I have to focus all the way through. I need to keep myself on the shield side and avoid every single lightning attacks at all costs. His openings are a bit vague in my opinion, but my dagger can easily overcome that by taking advantage of its attack speed. The fire breath is very good opening for me, so that's one comfortable spot to attack. The only problem here is how long I can endure this fight since he's pretty bulky and every hit is an insta kill towards me. So yeah, I gotta be precise. We're inside Lindel now and proceed to Godfrey right away. Still, in almost every run I did previously, Golden Godfrey is always a fair fight. It has solid attack pattern that can be easily memorized, and having a fast weapon also very beneficial. But I also want to see if the Wrath of Gold do any good on him. We're almost there. One more fight before progressing through everyone's quest. We have 2 more talisman slots and I fill it with Radagon's icon and Graven's Cool talisman. Now, the reason I got these 2 is because I thought I would be using Wrath of Gold as my main damage dealer. You know, Faith and Holy, the correlation. But I was wrong. Well, not completely, but let's just say it's much more comfortable to use a dagger in fights like this since Morgoth is fast. And yeah, I failed the skill check multiple times. He's really tested me out if I'm a real politician or not. Surely I am not, because the real one would be hiding behind the desk and not here in the battlefield. This actually took me an hour to adapt. Morgoth really gave me a huge spank, but now I got this. Actually, Morgoth has resistance to Holy, but I still give the Holy buff to my dagger because apparently the damage dealt was still better than without the buff. Now, Morgoth is smart. He knows if I keep close to him, he will pull some sudden attacks that might be a little problematic for me, so I have to maintain my range with him. But because I know what he's about to do most of the time, I can take it as an advantage and probably sneak in some attacks in the middle of it. Now, looking back, I should have got the Wing Sword Insignia, but I don't need it right now. Second phase, a slight change with his moves. I feel like my openings are getting tighter since most of his heavy slams will create an eruption that will kill me instantly. So to avoid that, I have to pay close attention to the ground and probably minimize my intrusive thought to bait him. Every blood related attack from him is a good opening, so I have to use it effectively whenever I have a chance. Now, the deed is done. I went back to Stormfell Castle for my knighting ceremony that apparently will never happen. Nepheli become the Lord of Stormfell and Kenneth Haight become her right-hand man, I think? I don't know. He already fulfilled his goal, but mine isn't just over yet. I'm gonna bring his name to the title of Elden Lord, so let's just continue our journey. Ascending to a higher location with bigger threat lies upon, and that is the Fire Giant. As usual, I skipped everything and went straight to the boss fight because I expect this fight will take half of my day since 42,000 HP is not gonna be easily reduced with a single dagger. I mean, I almost beat him a few times, but my fault was just I wasn't lucky enough. I would say Fire Giant is not that tough once you realize where and when to attack him. He's slow so you can easily get close to him, but his ranged attacks can be annoying, so make sure to stay near him at all time if possible. As usual, phase 1 just keep landing numbers on his leg until it's broken. Having Order's Blade casted might help a little bit. I don't think so, but I can see it deals a little tiny bit of damage addition, which I appreciate. 90% of his attacks are as low as Government's response, so I gotta take my time before dodging. Second phase, however, things getting a bit tougher. Even at first phase, he has damage negations towards Slash, but it will be more difficult at this stage since the weak points move to his hands. I cannot keep attacking his hands when I'm not on a specific spot. There isn't much choice, but I'll stay under his crotch and chip his legs until the hands are available for me to attack. Yeah, the damage amount is just painfully insignificant, but with patience, everything can be overcome. Did I say anything about patience just now? Nah, that doesn't apply for the next fight, okay? So after burning the erdtree for my benefit, I reach through Missoula and meet up with the filthy boss. Or should I say bosses, because it's almost a gangbang. 2 versus 1. Now, usually I have my own strats against those two, but I guess I'm getting old, my hands are getting rusty, and my mental state are a bit unstable. So dagger only was a bit too much for this fight. Let's back out for a minute. Stonebarb Crystal Tear deals 30% to enemy stance, so I can rely on reposting those two. Well, that's what I thought, however. This specific Crystal Tear only lasts 30 seconds, and in order to get it, I have to kill the Khalid Putrid Avatar. That seems to be the one who killed me frequently instead. So yeah, that's a pass. Yeah, it seems a bit hopeless here, but I remember what Genghis Khan said. Remember, you have no mate but a shadow. Yeah, the quote means nothing actually, but I summoned Bernal to help me. Even with his help, I still couldn't beat the foreskin duo. I guess I'm not allowed to do minimal work and take all the credits just like a true politician would do. So that's totally fine. I think with Bernal on my side, it's possible to beat them. However, I need to work with different method this time. Instead of focusing on killing them slowly, I have to prioritize Bernal's well-being by keeping him alive, but it's not gonna be easy. Having a summon outside the arena actually increases the boss's HP, so I have to rely on Bernal as my main damage dealer. After I observe the whole situation, I think it's best to let Bernal fight the skinny one while I handle the triple cheeseburger over here. At the same time, I hope RNG is kind enough to let Bernal kill the skinny one before the fat one reach second phase. Remember, my role here as a support. Now, after 2 days of trying, miracle happened. Listen, I don't think I'm mentally ready if the DLC releases this month, but at least I want my hands to be ready. Okay, I thought after Fire Giant, I can get the feel again, but apparently even in Malekith, it's still a warm-up session, but that's fine. It's totally fine. However, precise timing is needed and depends on what weapon I'm using. I have to use different approach. Now, since erdsteel dagger is my primary weapon, I took a closer approach with him. But there is something that bothers me a lot. It happens quite often that my hit didn't register at all, and I started to think that his middle body part doesn't even have a hitbox at all. But okay, I'll attack his hands and upper body part if possible. But the best spot probably his legs and his cheeks. Yes, his bubbly cheeks. Jump attacks only necessary when he pulled the beast claw, but most of the time I'm gonna use regular attacks. Now, you see, sometimes I buff my dagger when I got a chance, but I refuse to do that on phase 2. Malekith has holy negations on second phase, and I noticed the damage dealt was less than physical damage. So yeah, we're going with defaults now. However, second phase is far easier in my opinion because this guy can be easily baited to do destined death almost every time, so yeah. That's my only safe openings. Just be careful with them pillars though. They can block my movements. Kinda annoying actually. Alright Grandpa, your turn is up. You got no political party to back you up, and you banish your own stepdaughter, so prepare yourself. That's an oopsie from my part, but I have my own way to beat the guy. Let me get the green turtle talisman for a bit to boost my stamina recovery. Gideon is basically a tarnished model NPC like me, so he almost got no poise at all. I'm gonna turn that information into action. As long as he doesn't have a room to breathe, the only thing I have to pay attention is my stamina. On the other hand, but I don't even use sprint, so green turtle will take care of it. The former ruler of this land is back, thirsty for power more than ever. And just like what we usually do, we're gonna destroy everyone in our way. The title is mine and mine only. I beat Godfrey before and I definitely gonna use the same method. Thinking that I intentionally built a faith-focused character just ended as a Dax build at the end of the day, what a twist. But it's reasonable since the late game bosses usually has resistance to holy damage, and Godfrey is no exception. Since he has solid pattern and only a couple new moves, he can be easily overcome with patience. Yes, patience. Because I cannot jump every shockwave he pulled. I need to consider his follow-up. Wasn't really the issue here, but second phase is. Most probably because I have to constantly running every time, and not only I'm not able to frequently attack him like normally, but also I have to be on certain distance or I'm gonna be dead by his rapid hand moves or whatever it's called. One more step to become the Elden Lord. I need a crystal tear to protect myself from the Elden Stars. I know it's very late now, but let's just focus on building my dagger to beat God. That's right, I'm getting Winged Sword Insignia because I just know I can land multiple hits in a single opening on Radagon. Alright, last fight to claim the throne. Maybe much more easier than most of our previous fights. Radagon is not the issue at all. However, I need some time to beat him. Probably similar method as Godfrey where getting close actually has benefits, but with Radagon, almost every chain attacks has a small pause at the end, and that's where I come in. His lightning moves are very easy to dodge, but his physical moves are the one that caught me off guard sometimes. It's still an okay fight though, I guess. Now, Elden Beast, I might say he's much easier than Radagon, but I died a few times. Because my fault for losing my focus, yes. Yes, that's the reason. Usually the problem lays on the Elden Stars, but having Crimson Herald here nullifies them completely. Well, I would say the Golden Rain troubles me a little bit because I have to remove the lock on, so I could walk in curve to dodge that shit. But yeah, it's not really a big of a problem, you know. And yeah, it's done. It's done. Elden Beast, poof, done. I am the true ruler of the lands between now. The throne is already under my ass now. However, as much as I really want to end this, the government always wants more. So I guess I have to put my foot inside the volcano manor and make my way through it. Before, I had trouble with Guskin Duo. However, if it's only one of them and it's the fat one, it won't be a problem. I think the difference on the arena with Gutskin Duo, like these pillars, you know, they are sturdy as hell. But it's a thin one, so it caught me off guard a few times. It's a bit too late to upgrade my loadouts, but I just went back to get the Ritual Sword Talisman to see if 20% has a noticeable difference for a dagger. A dagger. For Rykard? No, I don't fucking care. All your tax money went into this. So, Volcano Manor is our ally now, or probably what's left of them. But there are a few factions that I need to visit to talk about the peace treaty. However, peace was never the answer, but instead, violence is. So Niall is the first boss before entering the Helix tree, and honestly it's pretty tough fight since I cannot figure how I should approach them at first. But looks like Wrath of Gold did a very good job on beating these two Banished Knights. For Niall himself, Wrath of Gold wouldn't be a right choice since I couldn't find a good spot and timing to cast, so I'll be using the dagger instead. Range wasn't the problem and the damage, it's bearable. Niall only has a few combinations of moves, so it's gonna be endurance battle all the way. At this point, I should have at least one bodyguard. Please, bro. But anyway, Helix Tree, Loretta. It's the second time and everything is basically the same. The only difference is Loretta has more HP and one new moveset on second phase. Heavy attack is very easy to pull here since her openings usually appear right after she pulls the second melee follow-ups, or when she casts those glint blades, but I was too scared to attack, so I'll just pull one on the safest opening. Okay, Melania. I may need to power up a bit more, but at this point I'm just too lazy to get new things. So let's see if my current loadout stands a chance against her. She wakes up and chooses violence. 200 damage. It's not that bad. Technically I did a dual dagger run on my other videos, but this one with only one dagger and without bleed. But I should be able to pull it off. So with Melania, as much as I hate this method, but patience is the best weapon. There are only solid openings, but I have to attack her fast enough to outspeed her recovery speed. Most of her attacks are slow-winded attacks as usual, but others like the jump slams work sometimes. Now, because I only deal 200-ish damage, that means the fight will take a good minute. So I need to make sure I don't get hit even a single time. Waterfowl Dance can be an opening if I get it right, but it's a bit risky, of course. But taking advantage of Dagger's attack speed, it can be pulled off. Now that's only phase 1. Phase 2, however, we're at disadvantage. As you might know, this dagger has terrible range, and second phase Melania really proves it. The strats are different now. The only time you can attack her is after the exploding rod. It can happen within various moves, but I have to quickly do it, or else she's gonna do something else. Especially the Shadow Clone. If I was late, they would have killed me right away. But yeah, the fight didn't take as long as I expected, so I might be lucky and I appreciate the luck. Alright, now we have conquered like 80% of the lands between. I thought I don't have to go for Radahn since he's technically one hollow already, so there's no point. But maybe I want to visit like the underground segment. Just for a little bit, you know, just for a sneak peek. So I got no choice but to beat him. Now with the rest, by the rest I mean the underground section. Yeah, no, I befriend them right away. I don't want to fight, I don't care. The government always free the underworld, and that's the rules. Now will you please excuse me, I need to get my foot massaged and wax my butt hair.